It's your first meal.
No?
Could have seasoned it, Mummy.
Come and join us to see how we started Solids at 6 months. How did we know he was ready to wean? He could sit up pretty much by himself at that point, and he could hold his head steady by himself. He could coordinate his eyes, hands and mouth so he could pick things up and put them into his mouth. And he was starting to swallow food rather than spit it out. Here are some things that can be red herrings and don't actually mean they're ready to start eating. We started weaning with vegetables before fruit, as I'd read in several books that babies often prefer sweeter foods, so starting with more bitter vegetables means they're more likely to accept these flavours later on. We used the food chart in one of Ella's kitchen books to introduce one vegetable or fruit at a time so that Josh would get used to a wide variety of different flavours. Introducing these foods one at a time also means you can look out for allergies. These are some reactions that the NHS tell you to look out for: breathing difficulties, runny nose, stomach upset and skin reactions. So we started off introducing a variety of purees and finger foods. Some of the vegetables we wanted to introduce, like Brussels sprouts, weren't really appropriate or safe to have as a finger food, so we did a puree, starting off quite watery and then getting thicker and lumpier as we went along. At first he was only having a few mouthfuls and then this increased. Finger foods that we found were really good were roasted or steamed parsnip, sweet potato, peppers, anything like that, cut into a strip that they can hold. He also really loved steamed broccoli, and he found this really easy to hold and get into his mouth. It was much easier to eat than other slippery vegetables. Definitely get yourself a steamer. This saved us a lot of time. Vegetables keep most of their nutrients when they're steamed, so we steamed loads and loads of vegetables. Fruits that are soft also make a really good first finger food. He loved strawberries, those were easier to grab, and fruits that we could put into slices for him, like peaches. There's a really good app that we've used called SOLIDS Starts, which tells you exactly how to prepare different fruits and vegetables for the age of your baby. Now that we've introduced all the fruits and vegetables, we're starting to introduce some other food groups, such as egg and dairy, cooked meats and fish. And this is great because he's getting used to different textures. We're also starting to get him to try and use a spoon and to spoon some of the runnier things into his mouth by himself, like his porridge and his eggs. These spoons are great because they're quite chunky, so he can hold them themselves in his little fist, and he can't push the spoon too far back and gag on it. Now that he's getting more confident with his eating, we are going to start doing more baby-led weaning. So watch our next video to see how we do that. Remember that after 6 months you should start to offer water as a drink. It can just be tap water. The NHS recommends free flow cups because they're better for your baby's teeth and teach them how to sip. We got this one off Amazon, but he does still need our help using it. The last thing to remember is that your baby will need a multivitamin if they're breastfed or having less than 500 millilitres of formula. We have this one that's a liquid and we just add a teaspoon of it into his milk in the evening. Remember, don't worry if your baby's not eating too much at the beginning. It's all about enjoying their food and experiencing new tastes and textures. They're getting all the calories they need from their milk. Happy weaning!